I think one of the more complicating facets of clinical research in rare diseases occurs when you have a family of diseases and you start to see drugs being and treatments being developed for some subpopulations of that community and not others. It becomes a little bit of a have and have not mentality and can be very disruptive to the cohesion that that community has experienced, frankly, to date. And sometimes this is a community that's been sort of together coping and supporting each other for decades. In those instances, what I can say is where we start to see involvement in one area of disease and we start to see progress and learnings in one area of disease, it's very often the case where soon after there starts to be interest in other parts of that community. It's not a certainty, and I think it's important for people to understand, again, there's no timeline for once the first, type of a condition gets approved, then type 2A or type 4, is next to follow. It doesn't always work in that systematic of a way. But as we learn about a certain gene, a certain mutation, variations of a class of diseases, those learnings sort of are cumulative, and we start over time to maybe be able to impact other parts of that disease family. We've seen this with other lysosomal storage disorders who, started out with one of the conditions having a treatment, and then others have followed, and now there's second generation things being looked at. I appreciate that it can be disruptive to the community, but I think, there is opportunity for learnings to be shared. And I also think importantly, when the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industry sees that there's a mobilized, cohesive patient community who is ready to help support research, that alone can sometimes be a tipping point for research to progress. It's very difficult to contemplate discovery of new therapeutic interventions if you're not sure if there's a willing and mobilized community sort of ready to participate in research. So that is always a piece of advice I give to advocacy partners that I'm working with is, stay on the radar, demonstrate that you have active families who are eager to be involved, eager to share insights, eager to participate, because that willing audience, that sort of captive crowd, can really sometimes make the difference between things being pushed from preclinical into clinical development and not.